Yeah, looks like we're live.
We're live. Okay, so hi. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, social souls that are on here. Good morning to anybody else that's been lucky enough to join us for this fantastic session. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, social souls that are on
absolutely
here. Good morning to
delighted that we have got Kelly Tyler on board. So welcome, Kelly.
morning.
Morning. Just a
Morning.
little bit about Kelly. So Kelly is Kelly's done a lot of things. She's run a publishing house. She has run a speaker agency. She has been a marketing director with a lot of different SMEs, and that's kind of how I got to know about Kelly and see Kelly at work. And I've also been very lucky to go on a retreat with Kelly where she completely helped me to sort out my strategy, my thinking, and get real clarity on what I needed to do. So thank you for that, Kelly. That retreat with you and Helena was life-changing for me. So so she now helps speakers, authors, and coaches with the Speaker Insights business, and indeed her wonderful Facebook group, the Connection Hub. As well. So I am delighted to have Kelly on board because when Grant Pyrrhus, who hopefully is going to be joining us on this Facebook, um, when he when I put out a question to the social souls, I asked what challenges do you have? What do you want us to cover on the lives that we have? I know I've got some really wonderful connections. I'm very fortunate. So who can we kind of tap into? And when marketing funnels and conversion funnels came up, I was like, cha-ching, there's only one person that I really want to get on board if I can to help us talk that through. So delighted to have you here, Kelly. And I've already got some questions, so maybe we should kick off with those.
I'm surprised anybody's even on with the day like it is today.
I know. So I don't know if anybody has joined us yet, but let's not take that personally. Um, because what happens with these things, everybody watches them in the replays, don't they?
I find 80% of people watch the replay of Facebook Live. So
Yeah.
hello to all of you on the catch up.
But we have got people watching us, so that there are people watching us. So who you are, I can't quite see yet. So I'm just
Hi in the comments and then we'll know when you're on.
yeah. Please do. Yeah, put who it is in on the comments, and we'll know who it is. Because hopefully, Grant, you are here. I can just see the eyeballs. Got about 7 people on board, and hopefully, Grant's is one of those eyeballs. So.
Right.
So I have a question, Kelly, and I suppose it's a good place to start is, I mean, when I was talking about marketing funnels, conversion funnels, somebody actually said, I don't know what you're talking about. You might as well be,
Speaking Swahili.
exactly. So do you want to give us just an overview first of the marketing funnels?
Yeah, because it's one of those things, right? And you'll know this, Michelle, in the social media world, jargon is we're abundant of jargon, and we like to demystify it as much as possible. So it's a question that I get asked all the time. What's the difference between a marketing funnel and a product funnel, and what is a funnel, and should I be using it, etc. So let's start there. It's a great place to start. A marketing funnel is basically the purpose of it is to find your ideal clients online. Then once you've found them, to capture them in some way or another. So to get their email or to get their some form of data around them, to then know what they're interested in, to find mainly one thing that they're really specifically interested in, so that you can have automatic conversations with those people on that subject, because you know that they want that, they're interested in that. And the ideal reason for the funnel is to then convert them to something that you can offer them at the end that solves the problem or the need in their life. But you don't want to do that until you've built up a really nice relationship with them. So I call that process having virtual cups of coffee with people. And I know some people in the marketing world use the analogy quite a lot of actually going on dates with people, and then as soon as they've met them, trying to get them in bed basically after the next day. And that's when we get those spam emails if you've signed up for something and then you get a sales email and continuous sales. I hate that stuff, right? It's about how do you have those online conversations with people where they don't feel that they're in a funnel. They don't feel like, oh, I'm in a system, I'm being robotically spoken to. and also you're adding value, demonstrating your skills, and giving them more than what they expect to sign up for. So that's that funnel process. Finding them, first of all, giving them something of high value initially to then say, oh my God, this woman knows her stuff. She's getting it free. Let's see what else she can give me. Then building more trust along the way, more value, and then solving a problem which you know they're interested about, you know they've got, because that's what they came to you for initially, and giving them a bigger solution than the free product that you gave them. So it's that finding your ideal client, nurturing them through and converting them to a sale in a non-sleazy, spammy way.
Perfect. And it goes back to...
Sorry, I have things, right? So I have so many funnels working at the same time. I always have a standard onboarding funnel, which is my main core problem that my ideal avatar or ideal client has. That's running all the time. But for someone like you who's got a book launch coming up in 2 weeks, then you'll want a specific funnel for that book launch, right? Yeah. Which is actually just going down, that you can have it running at the same time, or you might have an event coming up. So you can have lots of different funnels going on because you're looking at different needs of your ideal client. But I would encourage everybody watching this live to have a main onboarding one that runs 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually. I was with Made Simple yesterday, and they've got a work hub, and they really want to boost the work hub. And when we actually looked at the different audiences they had their current audience, so people currently using, and I said, right, so what's the funnel for them? You know, they had the people that were coming to their website and saying that they were interested in a free trial. Okay, so what's the funnel for them? They had another audience that was part of a business toolkit that they get as part of another product, and they tick a box and say, I'm interested. Okay, so what's the funnel for them? So similar messaging in some cases, you know, but in some cases it isn't. In some cases they are, you know, different processes in different messages that go.
And the important thing about that is that data segmentation is really important for your clients and people that are in your database to not feel that you're just sending the same message to everybody. If you've got your top 10% of your clients, you know, the ones that literally do everything, as soon as you release something, they're there. You don't want to be sending them stuff about, oh, if you want to be part of because you know they're part of your Facebook group.
Yeah.
There was a client that we had once that, I think I said to you on the retreat about this, Michelle, that he was a dog trainer. And when you came on board, some of the questions he'd ask you is the name of your dog, the breed of your dog, and the date of your dog's birthday. And every year he'd like segment it and say, hey, I know it's, you know, Billy the boxer's birthday today. Here's a free pack of these treats that I give out. And, you know, all these types of things to make that person feel that they're not just a number in your database. They're a real person, you care about them, and you know what their needs are, and you're not just going to spam them with everything. So the earlier you can start segmentating your data in your CRM system, which we'll go on to in a minute. I know I'm using jargon there, but even just to find out the men and the women or what their interests are. And then if you're running a women's retreat, you don't send a blanket email to all the men too.
No. It's that personalization, isn't it? As much as you can. And this is what I was saying to the team there yesterday. You know, they have 700 or so people tick a box to say that they want to try this free trial every kind of month. You can't physically phone up 700 people. You know, they haven't got the resource to be able to do that. But you can build this relationship bit by bit through communications, as long as it doesn't feel like they're part of a process, you know, and it's too semi.
And there are people that use the initial funnel to filter people out. And then when they get to a certain stage, you can then say a phone call is then tagged in the system. So this person's like got to this stage, they've jumped through these hoops. Somebody that you should have a phone call with. So then if you're using a comprehensive customer relationship management system that will then do that, then you can then spark that conversation and get one of your sales team to phone them and have that conversation. But it filters that out. Rather than phoning 700 people every day, you get to the top 50 that are real goers for you.
That's true. That's a good point. Brilliant. So hopefully that answers the question as to what they are. And I suppose the next question is why I suppose it's like why we need them and how do you build them? You know, what's a good process for that?
Similar on the time thing really that you said before, there's only a certain amount of hours in a day. And if you are launching anything where you need to get a large amount of eyeballs on that topic, so we use your book launch as an example, right? You can go to as many networking events as possible and do all the physical stuff and speak to your people. But what we want, especially, is are we going for bestseller status on your book?
Well, it's just, let's talk about that. Let's talk.
That should be a no-brainer for me. We should at least be hitting an Amazon bestseller for you, if not the other one. So if we were doing the Amazon, then we want everyone to buy your book on the day of launch. So how do we get like hundreds of thousands of people knowing that your book is released on that day? That's when we use funnels which are automated, because we can't physically speak to people in that day. We need to have all these online channels working for us through the night in different countries. And that's when we've got these various opt-in pages and lead generation resources and emails going out on our behalf, so we can focus on doing the PR stuff for the book launch, rocking up to the interviews, being on TV, because that's the stuff where I need to physically be. At the same time, all my emails are going out, all the stuff's going out online and working on my behalf. So it's a real leveraging system for you to reach more people than is physically possible, and to be just giving people the ability to share your information, because that's when it happens. When someone reads something, they get this report.
Yeah.
Like, you just released your social marketing guide, haven't you?
Yeah.
So if somebody reads that, then they want to share it. Then you've got the facility for it to go further. Field, right? And that's what we need on things like book launches. It's not just our network, it's our network's network.
Yeah. So it gives people that reach and that opportunity to get that message out to so many more. And I think the key is it's like an engine, it just keeps running and running and running and running and running and doing its work, and I suppose there's a bit of upfront work that needs to be looking at how optimized that is at the start. You want to make sure you're getting the right results from your funnel, don't you? But once you are from that funnel, you pretty much rinse and repeat and you just keep it running.
And that's the bit, right? Most of the speakers, authors and coaches that I work with, tech is their swear word, basically. They hate tech, they're scared of tech, they're like, I don't know where to start, what's supposed to speak to what. So I completely empathize. And what hopefully I've put something together to share with your group and stuff is that this might make it a little bit more simple for them, and also start identifying some software, some apps and things that they can have, because that's where people just go, just give me a template for me to play around with, and let me see if I like it and if it works. But this, you okay if I share my screen?
I was going to say, this is probably a really good place for you to jump in with that, Kelly. And what I'm going to do is screen grab this and make sure that I share it in the post as well, yeah?
Okay. Can you see that okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, screen grab that, and I've sent it to you as a PDF, so if anybody wants it as well, then...
You heard it.
I hope it didn't have our lovely pictures over the top of that.
No.
Awesome.
That's coming next.
So this is just an example for the people watching of what a very standard onboarding lead generation funnel would look like. So if you've got the first bit there, which is you would have created something. So you want to create something which is of real value to people that they want to download, right? So say, for example, Michelle, you've got your one coming up about your book. It might be, these are the top ways that CEOs can use social media, ... which doesn't involve taking a picture of your lunch type of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what they don't want, that type of social media. But they know that they need to step up and start using it. So you might have these 10 ways that CEOs can use social media to their benefit. Then you've created that, and it's a PDF document, and you have that for them to download. What we need to do is we need to create a squeeze page or opt-in page, and I'll tell you about that in the next step, where they can read what that report's going to do for them, who is it for, and click the button to then download it. That page itself is hosted on a specific URL, so you can have it on your website, but the best place is to have it on a separate website, so they can't do anything like read your blog or go to your shopping cart. Because if they've got all those different options at the top of your screen, they'll get distracted. And we want them to be able to do one thing, which is click the button and download your guide.
Brilliant.
when you've got that link, and I'll go through how to create that, you want to promote that on your Facebook page, for example. So if you've got your book launch coming up, you've got your Michelle page, you put the link in here going, hey, any CEOs that are following me here that want these 10 tips, use this, click this link here and download the guide. So we can start, and that way anybody else can start sharing that link across social media. You put it on Twitter, you might put it in the bio of your Instagram. So that link is that first stage there where it says promote the link.
Kelly, can you just turn your volume up?
I can, it's at the highest.
It is at the highest. Akshay, we're at the highest, we're both at the highest we can go. Can everybody hear us okay? They said they can hear me, but you're coming across a bit low.
Oh, maybe I shall go and grab some headphones. Would that work?
Yeah, maybe do that, because this is a good bit not to miss out on, isn't it?
So you carry on talking, I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So, hi everybody, nice to see you on the live. Actually, we're going to go and grab some headphones for Kelly. So, hi Lila, I'm very loud. Okay, well I'm going to go down a bit then. Hopefully that's a bit better. I'm very loud most of the time, Kim. So you can hear okay. My volume is good. Kelly's is good. Levels aren't quite right. Okay, I'm not quite sure why that would be. But we're going to get headphones. Kelly's going to plug in and maybe that's going to be better. Hi, good morning.
Right.
Hi, good morning. So I've just been saying hi to people. Hi, Susan. Nice to have you on here. Kelly's just about to go through and talk through the flow, the marketing funnel flow. Is that better?
Yeah, talk better. A little bit more. It's better, yeah? Awesome.
Better.
Okay, so should I go back to the beginning or should I just carry on?
Can you go back to the beginning?
Yeah. Sorry to repeat everyone that could hear. Okay, so like I was saying to before, when we've got a funnel, the first stage to think about is to create something of value to your ideal clients. Something that they already know that they want, not that you know that they need, because there's a difference. So I go to, well, what would my ideal client be Googling? What would they be wanting answers for? What are the things that they're keeping them awake at night? What are they asking their peers for support for? And I was using Michelle's upcoming book launch as an example. So her book is for leaders about how to use social media. So she might create a guide of the 10 ways that CEOs can use social media, not including how to take a picture of their lunch and all the stuff that they hate to do. So that might be a PDF guide that they put together. She needs to create what we call a squeeze page, or a lead page, or an opt-in page, or a landing page. These are all the same, different jargon for the same thing. And that just creates a one-page website where the only thing that these people can do is read about the guide, what it's going to give them, and then there's one button for them to click to download that guide. One of the mistakes people make often is put these pages on their websites, and then people get distracted by the toolbar and they go and read the blog or they go and look at the products. And then what they don't do is they click off the website and they haven't given you their email address to download the guide because something happened. So it's really good to just create an opt-in page so people can only do one thing, which is click the link to download the guide. So when you do that, you'll get a specific URL. And that's the URL that we want to use on the step 1 called promote the link. So you want to put that URL on, say, Michelle's Facebook page. You might say, hey, any CEOs following me here, you might want to download this guide of 10 steps how you can use social media. Then that allows other people to share it. She can put it on Twitter, she can put it in the bio of Instagram, and that becomes her sort of main go-to funnel for this lead generation tool. Now, the second page is creating this opt-in page, and there is software which I recommend for you to use it. I use leadpages.net. There is Squeeze Page Toolkit, there's ClickFunnels, there's lots of different software out there. The reason I use lead pages is because it's pretty simple. So people that don't like tech, which is most of my ideal clients don't like tech at all, it's a really simple drag and drop your logo, type your text in, and it's pretty much done because they create templates for you. So Lead Pages does the work for you and says all the people that are using this lead page at the moment, this is the most top converting one to use, and it might have a video on it or a countdown, and the layouts are all done for you. So it's really simple. So once you've done that, you've actually got your branded opt-in page for whatever guide or opt-in or video or checklist, all these various things you can create as the value add. Now, the great thing about these landing page software is you can also create the thank you page on there. Now, the thank you page is once they've downloaded, press the button to put their information in, they get another page come up saying, thanks for downloading the guide. Now, I would, if I was you, Michelle, put the group to the social souls on there saying, hey, as you've downloaded this, you might also be interested in joining my Facebook group where I do weekly Facebook lives and give lots of resources, and you can connect with peers on there, and you put the link in. And you also say on there, please now check your inbox for your PDF guide. So the next stage that happens is you want these people to then go into something called a customer relationship management system. It's a bit of a mouthful, but this is the place where their data is stored. Now, with obviously GDPR coming up, we're all very conscious of protecting your data, doing it in the right way. If you're using a CRM system, this is where the data is going to be stored, their email addresses, their company names, their names, what they opted in for, because you can tag them and say, okay, they opted in for my CEO's social media checklist. You then know in your social media that these guys are all CEOs, because why would anyone who's not a CEO download that report? So like we were saying at the beginning of this live, to data segmentate, that's a great way of actually working out what their wants and needs are or who they are. So there are loads of CRM systems out there. I don't know what you use, Michelle.
Well, we were using Capsule, playing around with Mail. I mean, always use MailChimp, but it's not really a CRM. But actually switched to Active Campaign from the retreat. For me, that I looked at it, it makes so much more sense. Yeah.
And so there's no right or wrong, guys. We've done it in our group. We've done a CRM comparison guide for what different CRM systems are out there. So you have got the MailChimps, which is more of an email broadcasting system. They have got some added features in, but that's because it's free for you to use, all the way up to something like Infusionsoft, which is like, you know, a couple of grand to set up and then a few £100 a month to run. And the one that we use and we recommend is Active Campaign, because it's actually in the middle of both of them. It's got both best of both worlds and at a reasonable price. So your once they've opted in to your opt-in page, their email address goes into your CRM system, and then that will set off an automatic campaign of that first email being sent to them. And that first email should be saying, here's your guide that you asked for. My top tip on this one is don't attach the PDF in the email, because sometimes that goes into their spam folder because it's seen as an attachment which could have virus files. I would put your PDF into like Dropbox or Amazon S3, and then just put the link that Dropbox gives you to that file, and then put the link in the email so that they can go and download it straight from there. But that first email should be, you know, here's your report you asked for, and maybe just a little paragraph empathizing with you, because they might not even know anything about you. Your squeeze page should all be about what the PDF's about, not about Michelle and what I've done for my companies. It's all about, are you a CEO that doesn't know how to use social media? These are the top 10 things. So this first email is, here's your report, and let me just tell you a little bit about me and how I want to help you as a CEO over the next few weeks. And you want to encourage them to save your email address, whitelist your email address so that you don't go into spam, and let them know that you're going to be sending them some more communication over the next couple of weeks to help them as a CEO. So we've done the promote the link, the opt-in page, the thank you page, the email's gone into the CRM system, and that first email with the PDF has been downloaded. So we're there. Now, this is where the virtual cups of coffee start. I advise people to set up a 7 to 8 automatic nurture campaign, which is a series of 7 or 8 emails that go probably every 2 to 3 days, not weekends for your market, Michelle, because new CEOs don't check their emails at the weekend. So, and that's where you start adding more value. This is where some mistakes make, right? Where they start sending you a sales email, the second email, and you're just like, oh my God, that's just horrible. Just let me, I don't even know who you are. So you want to demonstrate your expertise. You want to give them some more free resources, tell them a little bit about you, maybe do surveys, maybe do a webinar deep dive recording with them, so they can actually learn how good you are at your stuff and how well that you know their problems and what they're going for, and maybe do some examples of case studies of people that you've worked with and they really get that you get them and they start to like you, because people don't buy anything from anyone that they don't know, like, or trust. And at the moment, they probably don't know either of those things. So it's your job over this series to build that rapport up, build that trust up, and build that confidence with them. And part of that, I would probably put it in the middle of your emails to come and connect with you on your group, because we've built these people up and we've got their email address, but actually most of us know that email is very one way. You don't normally, even if you give your phone number out on emails or ask people to respond, you very rarely get people responding back. So we want to get this engagement, this tangible relationship with them. So say, come and join my Facebook group, come and join my LinkedIn group, come and join the place where I hang out daily, where you can come and ask me questions, or you can get to know the peers that are just like you. And then that's a way of actually building up your page likes and your group likes, as well as your email database, which is the point of the funnel, right? If you're doing your launch, Michelle, you want to be emailing people, you want to be, doing lives with them, you want to be any touch point where they're hanging out, you want to be with them. So that's another point. And then once we've done that, built that relationship with them, we want to ask them to buy, right? We want to ask them to buy your book. So on the day of release, we're going to say, or maybe the day before, saying, tomorrow's the day I launch this book. This book is basically a real deep dive into the things that I've been touching base with you over the last couple of weeks. So this is your chance to, you might have a promo on it. Well, if you do the Amazon bestseller and you've got bonus gifts to offer on that day of launch, then that's what that email is all about. You buy the £15 book and you get £400 worth of bonus gifts with it. It's a no-brainer. So you do all that. Now, the beauty is that sales page can also be, you can use lead pages or squeeze page toolkit to build the sales page as well. And this is what I love, because people go, oh God, I've got to go back to my web guy and it's going to cost me hundreds of pounds to build another page on my website or to make changes. If you use software like lead pages, you can do webinar pages on there, opt-in pages, sales pages, product launch pages, and it's all the same price. It's still the monthly price. So it's a great way to then, when you've got that last email number 8 in your nurture campaign is a sales email to say, okay, now come and buy. And my advice is a low tier product, right? This is a chance for these guys to test the water with you. Don't go putting an email for a £5,000 product when they've only met you 2 weeks ago. Have something in your product range that's something under 50 quid, right? Just so that they can get real value, get results, but not have had to have really think about it and remortgage their house for it. And then these are just a couple of extra bits which are techie, which people don't think about, is then you've got to be able to take the payment for that product, especially if it's a digital product. So what are you using to actually take that payment from them? I highly recommend Stripe. Do you use anything specific, Michelle?
I was using Sage Pay,
okay,
but that was pretty pricey actually.
Yeah.
So I haven't got anything set up. I've used PayPal in the past as well. Yeah. It's been okay, but Stripe seems like the no-brainer. So yeah, that's the spec I've put on for my Get Social site.
Nice. The Stripe for me is really good. They do Amex cards, which a lot of them don't. So when you're taking Amex cards, a lot of Sage Pay and people like that don't take them.
No.
Also with PayPal, they're pricey, but I've had so many clients that have done a big launch and they've got like £60,000 come through in PayPal in like one day, and PayPal have then stopped their account because they looks like fraudulent activity and they can't access that money for like 8 months still. And so that can put a company go under, right, if they can't take that cash. So you want to make sure that and these guys have told PayPal they're doing the launch and it still happens. It's multiple clients I've had that with. So it's just a bit of a warning if you're looking at boosts of payments with PayPal. Stripe, it doesn't happen with. And they're used to having these types of clients that are doing launches or back of room sales, etc.
Yeah.
And then once they've done that Stripe, then you've either got to have it so that the book gets delivered to them, or your online course access happens, or they get their event registration ticket from Eventbrite, or whatever it is, they get access to the product. Yeah. And then another funnel starts, which is another lot of email nurture to take them through, here's the event coming up, or did you enjoy the book? And here's the next thing. So it's an ongoing process. But for anyone that's starting, this is the best place to start. What does your audience want and need that you can provide a very short solution to? Don't try and solve the whole problem. Take one part of the problem and solve that in some form of guide, video, webinar, something that they can download, digital. Don't do a funnel, which is swapping time for money. So if your first thing was, oh, here's a free half-an-hour consultation with me, and you get 10,000 applicants in the first half an hour, you're a bit screwed, right? So you want to have this free product is a digital product which can run throughout the night. You shouldn't touch any of this process. Only time you should touch them is potentially when they get to the product, if it's a live event or something. Does that make sense?
It's brilliant, Kelly. And I think that so succinctly, you've taken us through that so succinctly. It's really, it's a great diagram. And it's, I know when you were talking to us at the retreat about this, we're like, oh, can you put this into a diagram for us? Yes, thank you for that. And the other thing that I would say is that, what are the common mistakes? What are the common things that happen? Where do people go wrong with you mentioned a couple, like, if they put a live event in not a live event, but a free consultation, and then all of a sudden you get 500 requests and it's like, oh my God, how do I manage that? That's clearly a problem. But what are the other things that you've seen? What are the things to watch out for in a funnel?
So definitely make sure it's digital. The second thing is being really clear, especially when I work with coaches, right? They want to solve the big problem first of all, right?
Yeah,
and they go, yeah, because they just think, I want to demonstrate. I know what these people need. Yeah. They don't know that they need that, but I know it. And they attempt to teach, they attempt to give away the thing that they need rather than the thing that they want. And that's really hard, because when you're telling something about people that they don't know yet even exists, they won't think it's for them. So you have to take, most of us have been our ideal client or our avatar ourselves. That's why we are coaches, speakers or trainers on that topic, because we've been there, got the scars, worn the t-shirts. And what we have to do, and it's really hard, is to go right back to the early days before we knew anything. I think, what did I think I needed? What was I looking for? Now I know that was not the wrong thing, but it was just the first step. You need to meet them there first. So your guide, video, PDF, checklist needs to be a real snippet into, okay, I'm going to meet you here. I'm going to empathize with you. I'm going to give you something to get you out of that position. And then I'm going to nurture you into actually raising your awareness that actually you need this. This is just putting a plaster over the wound. This is going to heal the wound, right? Yeah. But if you start here, they're going to go, that's not for me. I don't need that, right? Yeah.
And it's overwhelm, isn't there? There's kind of overwhelm. It's like, what are you even talking about? And I this is so true. And I remember us going through this and talking about this at the retreat, and it really resonated with me, because there's a huge curse of knowledge. I know when I was writing this book, I was thinking, nobody needs a book on social media now. Everybody knows social media, hence why we've got the group. People are still asking questions in the group. And it was when you're out there listening to people still get bamboozled with what you think everybody knows. By now, everybody will know that. And there is that amazing curse of knowledge that you've really got to go back. You've almost got to go back to the first time you started coaching and training that, and what were those questions that came up that you just think, surely everybody's got that now, but they haven't. And it isn't about being derogatory. It isn't.
No, not at all. Because you were there, right? You were there once.
No, so. Patronising or anything like that. It really happens. I mean, you saw me scrabbling around with Zoom today, and people say to me, oh, but you know everything about tech, and you know it. No, I don't. No, I don't. it's changing all the time.
Fine.
You know, but there are things I do know, and we can't make the assumptions that everybody knows that. And I think that's what, you know, it's definitely been a big learning curve for me. That aspect.
Yeah. And I think, and to highlight that point, for if we were using you as an example, if you just talk about a guide for social media, right? People are going to get that. One, it's not enough put in their pain as well. I'm like, one day I'll look at that when I've got time.
Yeah.
But if you had something that was really specific, like how to do Facebook Lives to fill your next event, right? Then you're going to be like, well, if I'm scared of how to do a Facebook Live, I've never done it before, you're going to tell me how. And also I've got an event coming up. I didn't know I could fill an event using Facebook Lives. So you've already got my attention, right? And then also when you do that, the things to talk about is where to look on the camera when you're doing a face, and people are like, that's just common sense, isn't it? Common sense is not common knowledge, right? And those are the questions that people need if they've never done a Facebook Live. Where's the red button to press record? Where do I go live on, page or group? Where do I look? All these things which we take for granted, that's where you need to meet them. Right. And you're not doing yourself a disservice, because you've solved that problem for them. And then when you nurture them, now it's the next stage. Now it's about how to promote your Facebook Live. Look at the results of it. Did you get engagement? All those types of things, which you start there, they're like, I don't even know how to set it up first. Let me look at my engagement levels.
100%. And I think that is a big message for all of us. I'm getting lots of thumbs and hearts, and so true. And that's so for me, you know, people are saying I'm still struggling with Facebook, you know, and getting Facebook set up. And yet, you know, these tools are not new. These tools now,
and they change every bloody day.
You change all the time, you know. They change. My life was on the wonk the other day. No reason at all. And then it seemed like there were some glitches.
There was, I saw your post.
Being a lunatic, you know. So, you know, with these, that is such a big message, I think, for everybody. You know, I mean, Kelly's shared so much brilliant stuff with us, taking us through this and sharing that great example and giving us the overview about what the things are. But coming back down to the what it is that you do,
that's so key.
It's so key.
These are just tactics that we're sharing. The systems and the processes, the tactics. You've got to be really passionate about what you do. You've got to know who you serve, and you've got to know what they want, right? And then have the user journey mapped out to go, okay, I'm going to meet them here with a free product. This is going to be the low tier product that I'm going to have, which moves them from, say, A to C. And then maybe we go from D to F later on, once they've got more trust with us, more results with us. We need to be getting results all the way. And I think that's one of the second biggest problem is that I see is that people build this lovely funnel and they've got the why, and then they just go and like do themselves a disservice by then selling to them straight away and spamming and, you know, just making it feel like you just want something from them. It's just really, I don't like it. So feel in that nurture campaign, how can you, if you were going to have 7 cups of coffees with a prospect as a coach or a trainer, what would you talk about? How would you demonstrate your expertise? What would you ask from them? How would you get that engagement? And attempt to portray that in 7 emails.
It's really humanizing, isn't it? That experience. And I think that's a really good way of thinking about it, actually. What would you say and what would you want from them? It really kind of, that positions it in your mind very clearly that you certainly, I always used to when I was training, you know, and when I still train, you know, if sometimes I did it as my kind of one thing they'll remember, I went straight into the room and I just gave everybody my business card. And I was like, business card, my name's Michelle Carvill, and I went around to give it, and you could see the, you know,
like, don't verbal diarrhea over me.
Elizabeth, you might remember this, you know, because it was a funny feedback when I used to train with Elizabeth, and I just went in with my business card, and I went like that, and I had Michelle Carvill big on the slides, you know, Michelle Carvill, and I was like, so anyway, I just thought we'd start off with an introduction to me, and so that you know who I am, and and you could see and then I went, so now let's just stop and let's just read it. What are you all thinking? How do you all feel?
Nice.
This? I haven't asked you a question. I don't know anything about you, but I've just come in. I've given you all my thing, and from a marketing perspective, that is what you're doing. Day in, day out with your audiences, so how do we get to know? I mean, it was a session about getting to know you,
Great. Love it.
They really remembered it, and they were really like, what the heck? I really didn't like you. And I was like, so how do you feel your customers feel about you?
Because you didn't show any empathy, you didn't show that you cared, you weren't interested. It was just, what can I get from this? What can I get? And that's just a way to break relationships.
I was just acting. It was just to prove a point.
Oh, hilarious.
Oh, brilliant.
Point well made.
Yeah, point well made. So, Kelly, I'm just checking the, sorry for looking away from you here.
Oh, God, we've already done 40 minutes.
We have. So, has anybody got any last fire questions for Kelly? I'm just going through here. Okay, yeah, we sorted that bit. I think we talked about that. I've been putting some of the gorgeous little nuggets of gold you've been sharing, into this as well. I will share the that lovely picture, and
if anyone's watching the catch up, then just put the questions in the comments and I'll just answer them after the live. I'm good to do that.
Please do that. Ali, hi, good to see you here. So any question for me? I'm full of my work and not Facebook. So okay, fine. So we don't have any more specific questions at the moment. Questions to me, but if you do have questions, ask away. Kelly, you've been an absolute delight. Thank you sincerely for sharing all of that. So generous of you.
No worries, man.
And it really is wonderful of you to come on and do that. And guys, if you found that useful, which I'm sure you did, you can now share it.
Yeah, so that's why we did it on the page, didn't we?
We did it on the page. You see, learning all the time. You can share it. So if you found this valuable, yes, thank you, Akshay. Yeah, he's going to share it. If you found it valuable and useful, then share it into your audiences so that gets Kelly's great word out there. It gets people to know about what the wonderful world happens in Social Souls, even though we're not in Social Souls. This is Social Souls production.
You're going to put a link to Social Souls in the comments, though, aren't you? So that people can join that group.
Kelly, coaching as we go. The clearest description I've ever heard, and I've had loads of people discuss this process. Thank you so much, Kelly. That's from Elizabeth.
No worries.
And everybody's saying thank you, Kelly and Michelle. Thank you, excellent. Thank you both, excellent. Appreciate it. Thank you. So lots of thanks. Big thanks from me. Mwah. And have a wonderful weekend.
Enjoy the sunshine, everybody, right?
Let's go mad. And hopefully we'll be privileged to get Kelly on the live down the line again with some other wonderful topic.
Anytime.
Brilliant. So thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you so
darling.
much. Big thanks from everybody here. And yeah, I agree. Very clear description. It's perfect. And you did that so well. So thank you for being here. And she's a wonderful social soul, guys. So she's on Social Souls. If you need stuff, if you've got questions,
just ask.
Ask away. Ask away. We've got all this wonderful knowledge there. So ask away, tap into it when you need it. So bye, lovely. And I think I just hit stop video.
Oh no, you're still live, it says on mine.
Okay, I'm going.
I'll go.
We'll all go. Bye.
See you. Bye.